So for this, it can be useful to have the 5-inch ball or to have a yoga block. If you don't have either, totally fine. You can do all the moves without them. All right, so we're gonna start lying on our backs. And go ahead and just take a moment to sink into the floor. All right, just allow yourself to make that connection with the lower back. Find your neutral spine. Neutral spine is the natural arch in the lower back, tailbone dropped, rib cage closing in. And then find your deep breaths, those inhales through the nose. And then as you exhale, squeezing the rib cage in, pulling the pelvic floor up. And this is where the block can start to become handy as would a ball, taking it between the thighs and using it to squeeze in as you inhale. And then as you exhale, squeeze. And notice how it kind of signals the pelvic floor to lift a little bit. Good. And then once you kind of feel into the mode, into the release, you can take that block and place it, or the ball, place it underneath your tailbone. Careful to make sure it's on the tailbone rather than the lower back. Okay, so right above the bum. And from here, find that neutral spine again. So it wants to, the pelvis might want to tilt or it may want to arch. You want to find that spot where it's right through center. You should feel a little bit of a stretch here as well. Arms are down by your sides. And then as you're ready, take the right leg to tabletop, take the left leg to tabletop. Good. Press the upper arms into the mat so you're signaling the mid-back to fire here to help hold the stability. Take an inhale. As you exhale, lower the right heel down, keeping the 90 degrees behind the back of the knee, and then coming back. And exhale the left. And coming back. Even though this is part of the warm-up, it's very intense. You're thinking about the slings across the body. So as you are lowering down, so I'm lowering my left leg, I'm going to feel that pull through the left side of the waist, connected to the right, and the right side of the waist connected to the left as it lowers down. So going from side to side like that. Good. And it's just a nice way of warming up the abdominals here. I keep pulling my belly button back, right? I stop my ribs from wanting to flare up by, again, thinking about that center line. And we'll do maybe like 2 more to each side. So I did about 10. And again, we're doing full body integration here. So press the upper arms into the mat to help fire through the center. Good, and that was more than 2 extra. Go ahead and roll it up and then bring it down. And then find that moment again just to neutralize the spine. Take that block, place it between the thighs, squeezing in to signal the pelvic floor. That block width is about 4 inches. That's about the width of the small Pilates ball. Press into the palms and reach the hips up. Take an inhale. Squeeze the block rather than firing the glutes here, and then exhaling to roll it back down. So whenever we're doing any of these, we want to keep the sides of the hip flexors will always try to fire up. We're trying to keep them as calm as possible, reaching up and then bringing it back down. Good. And then from here, take the prop out to the side. You're going to bring your arms into a cactus shape or a T shape. Bring the legs to tabletop. Keep the upper body flat, and then you're going to roll over towards the left. My right hip is lifting up, but my shoulder is not lifting up. And then I use my exhale through center to bring it up. Take an inhale as I go over. And as I exhale, I bring it up. My upper back stays neutral. This movement back and forth is doing 2 things. It's getting us some really nice movement between the vertebra, a nice stretch. But we're doing that while using the obliques. Now with the legs together, as I go over to the left next time, if I'm feeling up for it, maybe I extend that right leg out, keeping my knees in alignment, coming back through center and over to the other side. And I'm going to fake it because I'm going to hit the wall otherwise, coming back and going from side to side. Now, if I'm feeling very amped up, or I should say if this feels comfortable and I would like to progress it, both legs extend out, coming back in, and then over to the other side, extend out. Inhale in, exhale through center. Inhale, over to the left. Exhale, extend out. Inhale to bend, exhale through center. And we're just going from side to side. And this is a really healthy and stabilizing kind of exercise. So I probably would do about 10 reps to each side. And it really helps, especially at the beginning of your practice, to loosen up the spine. Good, let's do it 2 more times. So one more over to the right, coming back, over to the left. Good, and then one more time, over to the left. And I think we started on the left, so let's go over to the right. And there we go. Good, and then coming back through center, hug the knees in, take another little breather, and then releasing down. The nice thing about that twist action with it is it kind of already adds the release. We're gonna take another round of bridges, focusing on those slings in the body that we're talking about again. Take the arms down by your sides, palms pressing down, cross the right ankle over the left knee. And then keep both sides of your pelvis even here. So keep dropping down through the left hip and then press into the left foot underneath the big toe, pinky toe, and both sides of the heels lift up evenly. And then coming back down. 4 more like that. Press into the hands and lift up. And then coming back. Let's go for 3. And 2. And exhaling, last one. Good. From here, take the arms out into that T shape and let the foot drop over. Take that nice stretch. 2 inhales and exhales. And 1 more. And then coming back through center, use your obliques to pull it up. Place that foot down, arms come down by your sides, left foot, left ankle. Press into the upper arms, press into the palms of the hands evenly. And then from here, pressing into the whole bottom of the foot, push and lift up. And coming back down. So you'll start to notice, right, if one side's easier than the other, and especially when you talk about obliques, that becomes really great cues for us to address those imbalances of the bodies if we're very dominant on one side and the other. And these are great exercises to do that. Let's go for 2 more. And reaching long, trying to expand through the right side of the hip. And last one. And then coming down, the arms will come out a little bit and then just let the, what a nice stretch, taking it over. Okay, and then coming back up through center, release both feet down. From here, we're gonna interlace the hands behind the back of the head, roll the elbows forward slightly so that I'm creating like little bowls in the armpits here. And for now, to start, let's start with something between the legs if you're choosing to use something at all, okay? And then as you press into this, I want you to think about stabilizing the lower half of the body. Start to roll it up, roll it up, roll it up. I was just working with someone this morning. Hi, Alex. Think of having a little nectarine between the chin and the neck, right? So we're lifting up here without smushing it. And then from here, roll the right armpit towards the left knee without the hips kind of rolling up, right? So keep the tailbone down. And then coming back through center and exhale over to the other side. And coming back. So what I'm thinking about is as I roll over, right now I'm rolling over to the right, or so over towards the left, I'm trying to roll my left shoulder blade up and off, and then I'm coming back, exhaling, and then I'm coming over to the side and rolling it up and off, keeping both sides of my hips down. So it's a really true twist through the sides. Good, and using your exhale here. Now, if I wanted to progress this, to tighten it or to challenge that stability, I would take my left leg to tabletop, keep both sides of the hips down, and then roll up, 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 trying to bring the shoulder blades off. And then coming down, take the other side and exhaling. And then coming down. Or I would take both legs up, keep them through center, and again, this is very handy to just kind of make sure that the knees aren't coming in towards you. Lifting up from side and over to the other side. Every time the belly button pulls in, the shoulder blades are rolling out. I'm definitely feeling this. I don't even know how much I was doing, but we'll call it a day after 10 to each side, right? And you can work up to 10. Maybe starting out with 7. And if you were following this video from beginning to end, you probably did more like 14 or 15. All right, and then we have time to throw in some of that stuff working towards side plank. So I'm gonna show the hip variation of this with the knees down. Let's come onto the forearm. I'm on my left forearm right now. I wanna make sure my left shoulder and my left elbow are lined up. I also want to make sure that both sides of my waist are even. So I'm going to take my right hand onto my right hip, pressing out. So both sides of the waist are long. Now what will tend to happen, right, that broken neck syndrome, I want you to think about the whole length of the spine, including the back of the neck. Reach the crown of the head. My feet are out at 45 degrees. I'm flexing at the ankles. And then from here, I press into my hands, I reach the crown of the head, I push through the feet, and I lift up the hips. And then I just tap them down. When I tap them down, I want to think about keeping that side of the waist long. So as opposed to it kind of collapsing, right? That left side, as it comes down, is reaching away from me and then coming back up. Let's go for 4 and 3. Keep the ears in line with the shoulders. 2 and 1. Good, and then go ahead and we're going to bring ourselves up and over, and let's take it over to the other way. So I only did 5 of those. As you're getting used to them, as you're getting more comfortable with them, maybe progress it up to 7, right? And then I'm going to be doing another video pretty soon that'll be more of an intermediate to advanced level of how to turn this into a full side plank. So both sides of the waist long. Elbow underneath the shoulder, press into the hand, reach away and out, reach the crown of the head, and then lift up. And then coming down. Noticing again, if one side is easier than the other, keep reaching the right hip, that's the bottom hip, down and away from you as you push. Let's go for 2. And last 1. Fantastic, good. And then just to stretch this out, you can always push this in. This is a nice little kind of reset. You could add it to a longer routine, right? But you're certainly getting a good ab stretch or an ab workout. And now this is an ab stretch. Take the arms out and just let it, oh, that feels good. 2 breaths to reset. And then taking it over to the other way, hug the knees in, and then taking it over. 1 more inhale, and 1 more exhale. And then bringing yourself up, shoulders up to the ears, take an inhale, and there you go.